Okay, nasai minasan. Today we are gonna talk about Kamen Rider Outsiders episode 5. And before I watched this episode, I actually went ahead and rewatched all of the previous episode of Kamen Rider Outsiders to kind of like help me to refresh a little bit of my memory on what exactly the plot actually is. And after rewatching everything, I have one conclusion. Okay, I have only one conclusion, and that is Zein is an AI created for good and evil, and there are like two factions. It's either you side with Zein or you are not gonna side with Zein, okay? Like even like Horobi and Saiba Nico, at first they thought that hey, Zein is supposed to be a force of good, an AI that is gonna help to eradicate all evil. Turns out Zein is not that good himself, okay? He himself, I would say, is an outsider as well, because by the end of the day, we actually learned that he actually wanted to use the power of Kamen Rider Chronicle to destroy humanity. Okay, so that is really insane if you really think about it. But with that being said, let's talk about what happened in Kamen Rider Outsiders episode 5, because this is a new chapter and this is the first episode we got, if not mistaken, in 2024. And this is something that is really important because it actually tells us that this is how the story is going, you know, like it started out with Dan Kuroto and we only saw him in episode 0 of Kamen Rider Outsiders, and we even saw like the first like the how everything started. It actually started with the presidential fight between Sauzer and also Dan Kuroto, and right now once again we are back at the story of Dan Kuroto. We actually get to see him like figuring out a way to make himself human. Okay, so that is his motive from the get-go. He wants to become a human once again, and in order for him to do that, he actually requires the power of the goddess, the power of God, to actually help him to become a real human once again. I think this is a really amazing way to actually show us how smart, how much of a genius Dan Kuroto as a character actually is. He's acting like a goofball most of the time, calling himself Dan Kuroto Shin, but at the end of the day, he is legit a genius, okay? Because he actually outsmarted 2 AIs, and he even make use of the ability of Sumuri as a goddess of creation to kind of like fulfill his own personal desire. Okay, so that is really insane, because what happened is Dan Kuroto, he figured a way to kind of like force Zein to use the power of 02, and giving the and why he wanted the power of 02 is because he wants to give it to Arc. Okay, he wants to return the power of 02 to Arc and causes Arc and 02 to be able to meet together and talk to one another. So that is really crucial, because without the power of 2 genius AI working together, his plan is not gonna be able to be completed itself. And one thing that he learns is that he forces the good Zaya and Arc to fuse together to create 03, a new singularity of AI that is able to copy, that is able to learn the power of creation itself, and therefore like 03 is able to create a human body for Dan Kuroto itself. So that is a really insane thing that is happening right here. But then again, I really respect him for his geniusness. But at the same time, if you really think about it, I saw a lot of people actually talking about how Dan Kuroto, you know, like he released his final form just to get defeated by Zein in his debut match. But after I watched episode 5, I have one thing to say: he did not lose. He did not lose to Zein, man. Like Zein cannot even touch him at all because of what Zein was powered by Kamen Rider Chronicle. Okay, like his best data, best driver is actually created using the technology and the game of Kamen Rider Chronicle itself, and therefore Dan Kuroto is the god in Kamen Rider Chronicle itself. He's not he cannot be hurt. He has a cheat system, and that's why at the end of the day his final form is called Hyper Fumetsu Game. Okay, so that is way OP. Nothing Zein do can actually touch him, and therefore like the only time that Zein can actually defeat Dan Kuroto is when he release his henshin itself and go back to his Huma gear form. And he did this on purpose, because if he wasn't destroyed as a human gear, then Sumori wouldn't shed a tear of creation and causing 03 to be able to copy the power of the creation itself. So this is fantastic, man, like really fantastic. And the most funny thing of all is that, you know, like Dan Kuroto actually right on the shrine of Ace, he actually wishes to be blessed with a child. It's like, at first I was like, why would he want to be blessed with a child, man? Like, how does this actually relates to his like final dream and all those stuff? But we actually learned that like the child that he's actually talking about is actually himself, you know, like he is his own father, he is his own mother, and he is his own child. Oh my god, this is really mind-blowing. I think this is definitely what you would call a mad genius that actually just uses everyone is in his demise to gain what he wants. Okay, so really fantastic stuff. And right now Dan Kuroto is back as a human, and this time he's rocking a long hair and gold, a blonde hair as well. So I'm not sure like why is he rocking a long hair and blonde hair. Maybe it is to kind of like show us that this is human, it is version 2 of Dan Kuroto, or maybe it has also a little bit to do with how he is so smart that, you know, like he evolved from who he is. Or maybe this is not a perfect clone of Dan Kuroto, but actually it is kind of like an offspring of a idea of Dan Kuroto itself. Because when you want to be blessed with a child, obviously your child is not gonna have like a one-to-one kind of like DNA to yourself, something like that. Okay, so maybe that is the reason why. I think the most funniest thing in this episode is like Sumori herself is like, why did I even shed a tear for you, kind of thing. Like, you know, like Sumori had that expression, is like, what the fuck just happened, kind of thing, you know. So I think that is like the most funniest scene in the episode. Like Sumori, like, she doesn't get it, she doesn't know what is going on, but a dream is a dream. Okay, so like she's be like, okay, a dream is a dream, if you're happy with it, just go along with it. Okay, so and that is how Sumori, you know, like talk to herself, is like, I don't get it, but I'm just gonna move on from it. So really fantastic stuff here. But I think another big thing that we need to talk about is finally the defeat of Kamen Rider Zein for the first time since his appearance. Like, ever since his appearance, we never actually get to see him get defeated by anyone. He has been OP since day one. But right now, with the appearance of 03, he has been defeated for the first time. So that is really insane. I would thought that maybe Zein is gonna stay OP until we actually got the final member of the Outsiders ganging up together to take him down. Because right now, so far, 2 Outsiders that has been teased at the beginning of Kamen Rider Outsiders has not returned yet in the story. So first of all, it's obviously gonna be Oja. Oja has been teased to us that, hey, he's gonna join the fight to fight against Zein, but right now he's nowhere to be seen. And Dizas itself, Dizas has been teased to have a Kamen Rider form, and right now he said, yeah, he's going to hunt down like Zein, and he's nowhere to be seen as well. So these are 2 riders that is, you know, being teased to us that, hey, they are gonna fight against Zein, and yet we haven't seen him doing anything yet at the moment. Another rider that might potentially fight against Zein is Kamen Rider Juga, okay, our best boy, George Karizaki fanboy as well. So I think this is 3 riders that has yet to make a reappearance in Kamen Rider Outsiders to fight with Zein, and yet he has already been defeated by 03. It kind of like made me wonder, like, are we even gonna see like the rest of the Outsiders like coming back and, you know, needed in the fight against Zein itself? Because like Zein has been defeated, man. Like, he is no longer this supreme being that need everyone's power to work together to take down something like that. So I'm not sure how things are gonna go right now moving forward because of the appearance of Evolt Kamen Rider Evolt. Okay, so I think this is called Evolt X, if not mistaken. So we are not sure why is he back, but he is back. Okay, so he's back in action. Fantastic stuff. If you're a big fan of Kamen Rider build, next episode of Outsiders is so amazing because we finally get a reappearance of, I forgot what is her name, but the girl, okay? The girl, the idol from Kamen Rider build is back in action once again. Really, really excited to see what is her story in Outsiders, what can she brings to the table itself. I think this is a really, really amazing way for them to bring back the female heroine, the heroine of the Kamen Rider series when they are not a Kamen Rider itself, because we got Girls Remix, which actually celebrated all the female heroine, the female rider in the series, but they cannot celebrate the other rider, the other heroine that is not actually a Kamen Rider itself. Okay, I mean, we got Akiko from Girls Remix, who is not actually a rider, and yet she is the leader of the Girl Remix. And there are some other character in Girl Remix that is not a rider, but I think having them to show up in Outsiders, playing kind of like a minor role in moving the plot forward, I think it is gonna be really, really interesting to see how things are gonna go. I think a lot of people is definitely gonna be curious on what is the current like relationship status of the build idol girl. Like, is she gonna end up with Grease or not? That I think that is something like a lot of people are like really, really, you know, curious about. But I would really hope that she got a happy ending. Like, she deserved it. And yeah, I think that is it from me for Kamen Rider Outsiders. It is a fantastic series. I'm not sure how many episodes of Outsiders we are gonna get. Hopefully we get more. This can actually last for a lifetime. I don't care. But I think one of the most interesting thing when I rewatch, before I end the video, sorry, like one of the most interesting thing that I realized when I rewatch Kamen Rider Outsiders is one of the dialogue that they say is like really piqued my interest, and this might actually solve the problem of a lot of issue in Kamen Rider like story itself. Okay, and even it might actually kind of like solve the reason why Kamen Rider Zein actually appears in Kamen Rider Gacha itself. Okay, and I think the biggest line that I remember someone said, I forgot in which episode already, but he did say that Zein, one of the Zein ideals is to kind of like unify the war of the Kamen Rider. And when I heard this, it's like, bro, is this how they are kind of like pulling all Kamen Rider history like war together, something like that? And yeah, I think this is something really, really interesting. And maybe this is how they are gonna fix the multiversal war problem with the Kamen Rider franchise, and they are gonna and after Outsiders moving forward, we are actually gonna see kind of like a clear timeline and a clear parallel war, something like that moving forward. If that is what they are going for, props to them. I'm really happy if they actually do that, because like fixing up the multiverse is definitely one of the best thing the Kamen Rider franchise can do right now, because it's so messy. Anything is possible right now, and the multiversal stuff is, you know, anything can happen, so everything is like meaningless at the same time. Like, yeah, but I digress. Another thing that I felt really, really interested to talk about is before, like, maybe let me just add on another point, okay, before I end the video. When I was watching this episode, I thought that actually came to my mind, okay. So it's like, a lot of the time we actually assume that, hey, you know, like, why is the cut of Zein actually look similar? Why does it look similar to the Decade card itself? But what if this is the origin of Decade itself? Okay, so because of how we view the Kamen Rider series itself, we actually view it from Kuga to Decade. We assume Decade to be a Heisei generation rider itself, but it's like this. How do I actually say this? It's like this. The power of Decade is so advanced that it might not actually be coming from the present day itself. It might be coming from somewhere in the future itself, because the ability to, you know, use the power of other Kamen Rider seems like something George Karizaki would actually wants to achieve at the end of the day. You know, like, he might actually wants to, you know, he have the ability to henshin into all other Kamen Rider, and right now we are seeing the starting point of that technology being developed through Kamen Rider Zein itself. So if you want to, like, kind of put the timeline in order, like, how things are going right now is like Zein appears with the driver to use other rider ability, but it is kind of like a one-time use. But after that, someone actually figure out a way to, hey, what if we can actually use the power of Zein and kind of like give it to Decade itself, you know, like, kind of like, rather than a one-time use card, but we actually make it into a reusable card, and like even Decade himself can transform into the rider itself to maximize his potential, something like that. And from there, we actually got Kamen Rider Legend, which actually like increased the power of Legend. So I think this is, if that is how the story goes, I think it's gonna be so amazing for us to actually learn, like, secretly Kamen Rider Outsiders turns out to be the origin story of Decade itself, because we never know, like, we never like ask the question, how does the Decade driver actually came from? Like, where does it actually came from? And all those stuff. And I think it has been kind of instilled to us Kamen Rider fans to not think so much about where does a driver come from, especially like there are some driver which actually came from like mythological myth and all those stuff. But yeah, I think Decade driver is like one of the things that really boggles me. And even watching Kamen Rider Legends, seeing how Butler is able to, and in the war of Legend, we are actually get to see they are actually utilizing a giant Decade driver to summon the entire tower and opening up the Aurora curtain system. So it's like they actually call it the Aurora curtain system. At first we thought that is the thing that only Decade can use, but they actually managed to reverse engineer it. So I think, like, having Sakurai Yuto, like, being the user of Kamen Rider Zein, it actually opens up a world where, like, you know, like, they can travel across time. And now they require a way for them to travel across different world itself. You know, so there is like evolution of technology, which eventually leads to the birth of Decade. Okay, so that is just my theory on what actually is Zein itself. So yeah, stupid theory, maybe stupid, maybe not, we are not sure. But with that being said, that is all from me of regarding Kamen Rider Outsiders episode 5. If you made it this far into the video, means you have seen through me talking about my theories rather than really talking about the episode, and I just want to give thanks to you. Okay, so let's comment the word Polar Express in the comment section below, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye.